It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. You can get a hold of me at Opperman Investigations and Digital Forensic Consulting if you reach out to me through my email, oppermaninvestigations@gmail.com. If you like our show, check out our Patreon, the Opperman Report Patreon. Even if you get everything there early and ad-free. Everything you hear Monday to Friday on AM/FM radio, you could find over there with the ads and the commercials cut out. But also, too, I'm always putting up free documents and all kind of free stuff there, too. So it's worth it, without paying for free, just to pop in there and check things out, see what's up there. And also, too, you'll get if you become a member for free, you sign some type of membership, you'll get an email notification when I put up new stuff. And I've always got good stuff, so you can't complain about that. You can complain about me, but not the content. Otherwise, every Friday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 hours of brand new podcast content, 1 hour solo going over stuff, and then 2 hours of brand new exclusive podcast content, brand new from that week. We have today, David Wheeler's back. He's been on this show. The first time he came on was to break some news about Lauren Boebert a long time ago. Always got great content. You could find him. He's got his own podcast now, American Muck. You could find on all the major podcast platforms. His website is AmericanMuckraker.com. He's got a news thing called Muckraker.today. This guy's got muck on his brain and nothing but muck going on with our friend here, David Wheeler. And then get this, just released his own coloring book. It's an adult coloring book. I don't know if there's any nudes in there, I think, but it's an adult coloring book. Color the Crooks. You got to love David Wheeler. Mr. Wheeler, are you there?
I'm good, Ed. Great to talk to you again, my friend.
It really is, man. It really is. And like we said, we're talking off the air about how Twitter's trying to keep us apart, but we won't let them, man. We're gonna make an effort to keep in better contact.
Yeah. There are two birds of a feather, or whatever that expression is. Two peas in a pod. Before we get into this kind of a serious story about some First Amendment violations and some government oversight, some heavy-handed Gestapo tactics going on down here in Florida, remind the audience, Who is David Wheeler? What's American Muckraker? What's American Muck? Tell us about yourself. Well, I'm an entrepreneur that used to live in Chicago, moved to Western North Carolina, got married, and got 3 kids. And I grew up in politics in Iowa and was an operative for several campaigns, including Barack Obama and Tom Vilsack and others. And I've been a candidate myself, and made a living out of muckraking and politics. And I enjoy that, and I'm delighted to be on the show.
How did that campaign go? You were running for something with the insurance board or something?
Yeah, well, it was actually, it started out great because I was the only candidate. I was running in a primary, and I didn't think I was going to have a primary until 2 days before filing ended, and this state senator swooped in and registered, and a guy running against a woman or a man running against a woman in the Democratic primary in North Carolina is tough. Women tend to have the benefit of the doubt in ways that men don't, and so I ended up losing. But it was such a great experience. I mean, I spent a year on the road exploring and meeting folks all over North Carolina, but I ended up losing the primary, which might not have been a bad thing.
They say on that bucket list thing that everyone should at one time work on a campaign, volunteer for a campaign and get out there, behind your candidate. It is a great experience, and to run, to be your own candidate, to be the head of the ticket. That must be a great thrill for your life, something to put down in your memoirs, as one might say.
It's great when you win, but it sucks when you lose. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, but still, it's a great experience, though. It's a great learning experience. You meet so many people. You can't deny that. Okay, so and what about American Muck, your podcast? What are we going to find over there?
Well, Colonel Mo Davis and I started that a little more than a year ago, about a year and a half ago, and geez, we've got great guests. We had Elon Musk's dad on that job. Yeah, that was fun. He was live from South Africa. We've had Adam Kinzinger, lots of great guests that make appearances but don't generally spend a lot of time, and we get them usually for about 45 minutes. So it's on any of the platforms. American Muck is the name of Muck U is the name of the podcast, produced by American Muckrakers.
Excellent. I was an honored guest on American Muckrakers. I was honored to be there.
That's right. Eh?
I enjoyed myself.
Year. Yeah,
not from South Africa, but still. You can't forget me. Okay. Let's see what else is going on here. And then Muckraker Today. What's that? Now, the Muckraker Today, and that's like a news operation. What are you doing there?
Yeah, it's an aggregated news site. We pull in kind of anti-Trump, anti-MAGA, pro-democracy news from around the web. And then we also post all of our original work, the podcast. I've got a pretty good Substack following, and everything I post on Substack goes there. And then we have a rogues gallery of people that we're following, that we're trying to highlight all the nonsense and crap that they do, including Lauren Boebert and well, we have to take Lindsey Graham off, I guess, but he was on there, and we've got Putin. We've got a Putin watch, which is really interesting. We kind of track him, and we put in some probabilities of him being overthrown, and that's a live prediction site. And we also have a new website, voteroi.com. I forgot to mention this in the pre-interview here, but voteroi.com is a competitor to ActBlue, and it's at about half the cost of the campaigns, and it does everything that ActBlue does, but it also has an agent in there that'll recommend races. So you can put in, let's say, the environment's important and you want to invest some money in governor races in the Midwest. Put all those attributes in there, and it'll spew out, here are the candidates that actually need the money. One of the biggest problems I have with donors these days is they're putting money into celebrity races, and we call them lost causes, and they dump money into those races that never had a chance to win. For example, when Marjorie Taylor Greene was still in Congress, perennially, or every 2 years, the Democrat would raise millions upon millions of dollars, $16 million 4 years ago or 2 years ago, and they still lose by 32 points in every single election. So we're trying to get donors to think a little bit more about where they're placing their money and in races that need money, like Sherrod Brown in Ohio and Roy Cooper here in North Carolina. Those guys, they need the money because their race is going to be very close and they can win, but an extra $1 million, from small donors goes a long way in these states out here. So that's what's going on with that. And then my coloring book, I'm so excited about this. It's actually, it's called an adult coloring book only because it's for adults. It doesn't have adult material in there. It's Color the Crooks. And our first case, you being a PI, you'll appreciate this, is Lauren Boebert. And so the book has highlights of her life that you can color, including her, the Beetlejuice episode that we actually broke that news through a tip. Her killing her neighbor's dog, which is morbid but true, and all the other crazy stuff that she's done, and So it's an adult book. It's available on Amazon, and it's called Color the Crooks. And it's going to be a series. I think probably our next one might be Jeffrey Epstein or another scoundrel out there that needs to be highlighted. So anyway, it's a fun book. It's funny, and it's a great gift, a gag gift, or if you're into coloring, and there are a lot of adults that do coloring these days, it's a great book for that.
And it is a great idea too, and it's the kind of thing there's unlimited material. You can put out a new one every month,
Well, yeah, and there is a serious aspect to it, even though it's funny. We're trying to highlight her in a way that connects with people, and instead of just jamming negative information down the throats. It's a way for people to learn about this crazy person through a comic book, essentially.
Yeah, too bad you didn't have that back when who was that guy? The fellow in the wheelchair. I forget his name.
Madison Cawthorn. Yeah,
Cawthorn.
Well,
right.
he's running again. He's running again, Ed, down in South Florida. I mean, I can't remember what district it is, but it's Byron Daniels' district, and he's running in the primary in August.
Sounds like false advertising, but okay.
We may have to pull that book together.
Well, now you and I met. Your first thing was about Lauren Boebert and about her being in what was that thing? An escort service and Explore Talent. That scam. Talent agency operation. What about? And she sued you. Did she actually sue you, or you sued her? What happened?
No, come on, man. She's all bluster, action. So, no, our accusations were based upon our sources, written and verbal and recorded, that he was a paid escort. And we put that out, and that she also had 2 abortions, and that she was doing meth with her boyfriend up in a man camp in Colorado, and we put all that out, and she came at us and said it was all untrue, and that she was going to sue us for libel or defamation, and her lawyer sent a really fancy, nasty letter, and CNN did a report and corroborated some of what we were doing, and had some issues with some of what we did, but we cooperated with them on that, and she didn't have a word to say. So Dan Dale put out a report that I was pretty critical of, just because he didn't even talk to her. He only talked to us, and we were an open book on it. But yeah, that was our first claim to fame was we put out the video on Madison Cawthorn, who was face humping his cousin, and that kind of put us on the map. And then we went after Boebert, and she only won by 548 votes.
I remember that CNN. And I was outraged by that article. It was called Fact Check, and I was so disgusted and outraged by the use of that term fact check that I did a solo show called Certificate of Authenticity. And it was about how I would take my daughter to the casino where they would have this thing where they would check your weight or something like a carnival thing, and they would give her the prize was this little doll with a certificate of authenticity that they paid $1 for, and what a sham. This guy calling this thing a fact check, like it has some kind of credibility. Call it a fact.
Well, right. And it was, it's Daniel Dale, and he does some good work, but my whole problem with it was we were an open book. We said, whatever you want, we'll give it to you, and we gave it to him. But then he didn't do any of that checking with Boebert. Yeah. So, he claimed it was a fact check, but in my way of thinking, how can you do a full fact check if you don't fact check the subject of the fact check? Yeah. So it was bullshit. And I actually had conversations with him and his boss, producers of that segment. and they refused to retract or even add to the story, because later on she said she was going to sue us. She never did. And then she defamed me.
Yep.
So I filed a lawsuit against her in Colorado federal court with a real lawyer, a great First Amendment lawyer, another guy named Dan Ernst. If anybody ever needs a terrific lawyer, man, he is the go-to guy. He actually teaches First Amendment law, and he took the case for me, and we got a favorable ruling from a federal judge, not on the defamation, but on she had threatened our donors with suing them for for what she contended was me defaming her, and that was a very bold claim for them to make. And the judge said they can't threaten donors with being sued for what another organization does. But we had kind of run the course on that, and the cost was going to be too much to keep litigating.
Yeah, unfortunately, defamation's it's not a big payoff. Defamation isn't a great case. Lawyers don't like to take them. So if you have one that's willing to take it, that's a good resource.
Real damages damages that we were able to quantify, because our donations went down significantly, about 90%, when she made that claim. And so she accomplished what she wanted, which was, to starve off our organization, but it didn't stop me from suing her.
And what is going on with Boebert these days? You don't see much of her these days. She's keeping a lower profile.
Well, she, she's a grandmother at 36 years old.
Wow.
Her son, dude, I call it the Boebert crime syndicate.
Yeah.
Because her son is in and out of court. He's got 2 court dates this week in 2 different counties. Well, one is for larceny, I think, and raping a disabled person. Ooh. And then the second one is for child abuse. His son got out from the house and wandering around a neighborhood, and I think he was 2, and so he got arrested for that. And so there's that, and her husband, or ex, she got divorced.
Yeah.
Her ex-husband seems to have gotten his crap together, and we don't hear about him. He was a source of quite a bit of law enforcement activity for a while, but maybe he's better now that he's not with her. But so the Boebert crime family is alive and well in Colorado, and she's still she moved districts at the very last minute, and when it looked like she could get beat. So she's in a more eastern, rural district east of Denver. She lives in a town called Windsor. I don't know if anybody knows where that is, but she's running for re-election. She's going to have a challenge. There's a woman, Eileen. She's a former rear admiral in the Navy, and she's got a race on her hands.
Let me ask you a question here, then we'll get into this whole story about this family here, James and Kathy O'Gara, who were under the Gestapo tactics here down in Florida. But Lauren Boebert, the first we saw of her, she won this stupid little election. She's a junior representative. And she does this video where I'm going to carry my gun through D.C. and I'm going to carry it into Congress. I'm going to carry my gun. You know what I mean? And that got her a lot of attention. Now, was that on her own? Was that a fluke, or were there people behind her with this whole plan all along to make her some kind of a elevator?
Well, we were never able to prove a direct connection, other than Ted Cruz gave her campaign $140,000 or $120,000.
Right.
Which, for a challenger, a novice, that's a lot of money for a campaign. And, obviously there's a lot of money in politics, and the Supreme Court last week is going to allow a hell of a lot more to come in. But, we could never prove that Ted Cruz recruited her, but he had met with her, according to our sources, in Aspen when she was a paid escort. And then you remember her claim to her original claim to fame was she was at that Beto rally in Colorado where she called him out and said, "You're not going to take away my gun," kind of thing, and embarrassed Beto when he was contemplating running for president. And you know, her persona is she's the tough girl, she's a cowgirl. She had a restaurant called Shooters where the waitresses would wear guns on their hip, and but she's kind of a failure at everything she's ever done other than run for Congress. And I think she's such a grifter that being a politician is perfect for her because there's so much money in that space, and it's easy to just slip up $50 in your pocket here and there. And you know, one example of that was she claimed to have driven 35,000 miles in a short period of time, and she reimbursed herself $20,000 of donor money that happened to be the exact amount in back taxes she owed.
35,000.
Irony of irony. 20. She needed 20, and she found 20 grand.
And she's working as a long haul trucker at the same time.
Yeah.
You can't. They wouldn't even let you drive that many miles.
Well, I mean, it's like circumventing the globe.
Yeah, I don't think pilots are allowed to fly that many miles in a year. 35,000 miles. Commercial pilots.
Yeah.
Oh,
she's
God.
just a total grifter. She ought to be embarrassed.
Yeah.
She's got a lot of young kids, but she spends, she posted that she was in Washington over July 4th and my response was, when she was with somebody else's family, they call him the ramen shaman, this guy with curly hair. And my response was, why are you with this other family? Don't you have your own family back in Colorado you should be spending some time with? But I don't think she likes being a mom much. So anyway, she's going to have, fortunately, I think for your listeners, she's going to have a challenge on her hands this coming election just because the district has touches on the suburbs of Denver. That's going to be a vulnerable spot for her, but we'll see.
We're talking to David Wheeler from American Muckraker, AmericanMuckraker.com. You can find him on Twitter, American Muckraker, and the podcast American Muck. And if you go to his website, too, he has all kind of recordings and all kind of embarrassing things and videos of all kind of people, all kind of good stuff. It's perfect. Real quick, before we get in, one last question for you. Sorry to keep moving this forward. Before we get to this, James and Kathy O'Gara and this incident down here in Florida. What do you make of this DSA takeover of New York City? Is American Muckraker happy to see this, or are they more mainstream Democrat and they're concerned about it?
Well, I'm a pretty mainstream moderate Democrat, and we tend to support more moderate folks. But, New York is New York, man. The voters elected them. And, if he had somehow gotten in on a technicality or it was a fake election or some nonsense. But the guy won, so, and he won substantially. So you can't, one of the cardinal rules in my mind is, voters, they may not make the right decision, but they make decisions, and that's what this country is all about. And you gotta, the will of the voter is paramount. And I just think the DSA's happening there or because the voters want that kind of person. And although I do sympathize with some of the DSA talking points, the billionaires and trillionaires in this country are out of control, man.
Yeah.
They don't care about, they do not care about the people that have put all that money in their pockets. And some accountability of those folks is important. And the fact that I pay more taxes than they do is ridiculous. And so there's some aspects of that, more of the populist view of the world. that I agree with, but the anti-Israel stuff I don't agree with. The some of the more ridiculous tax increases I don't necessarily agree with. But when the voters speak, you got to listen.
Oh yeah, I happen to be in New York City on Election Day at a Mandami victory party, and the line around the block, man. Okay, with young people, man.
Yeah.
The enthusiasm. I was just there again Father's Day, and they had a runoff thing, primary thing in New York, and 15 candidates, DSA candidates won. The enthusiasm in New York, the people behind Mandami, I've never seen anything like it in my life. This guy has huge popularity, and people really need to take notice, man. And
I haven't
changes.
met him. I don't. Yeah, I haven't met him, and I don't know his people, but he seems like an honorable guy, and versus the prior mayor who is as slimy as the day is long.
Yeah.
Mandami seems to understand that the people put him there, and that's what he's going to do. So God bless the guy. And
oh yeah, and I can say something else.
I hope he's very successful.
The fellow he put in as oversight, that the chair of the oversight committee in New York City, is a super squeaky clean. I don't even know how they let this guy in New York politics. Okay, he is such a nerd, and he is so clean. So it's very encouraging to see that kind of bringing honesty into politics. God, Zooks, what kind of that's probably his biggest mistake,
Especially the world we live in right now, where it seems to be a free for all, man. It reminds me of the Reagan days when his mantra was, "You get yours and I'll get mine." It seems to me like it is literally a free for all in Washington right now.
Oh yeah,
because there's no accountability, zero.
Yeah. Yeah, we were just talking off the air about pardons for sale. It's common knowledge. It's not even like you got to worry about your phone being tapped. It's in emails. People talking openly about it. I'm selling pardons.
Yeah, because who's going to prosecute them?
Yeah. We've never seen anything like this, man.
And that's a whole other. Well, maybe they want them to be prosecuted, so then they can get another bribe.
That's right, man. That's right.
There's a hamster wheel of bribe money coming in.
Yeah, it's like a planned obsolescence, right? Get them arrested again.
Exactly.
Oh my God, Mr. Wheeler, you contacted me because there's a case going on down here in Florida where this couple, James and Kathy O'Gara. So first, give us an overview of what's going on with this, and then we'll get into the details.
Sure. Well, it's pretty simple. Mr. O'Gara is a former member of the military, 77, maybe 78 by now. Terrific guy, served 2 tours in the military. His wife is a lovely person. They're politically active and very intelligent, smart people, and they live in Largo. And Mr. O'Gara, sorry, I get a call here. Mr. O'Gara sent there's an elected CFO in Florida, Chief Financial Officer. His first name is Blaze. I can't remember his last name. He sent him a postcard, and it simply read, essentially your value. You don't have any values, and it was received by that office, and then they sent 2 SUVs, officers in each car, to his home, and banged on the door, and interviewed him as if he was threatening this CFO in Florida. And it outraged me that happened. So we've been digging. We did a really good podcast with them on American Muck, or Muck U, and we've kept in touch. And then I filed a public records request to get as much information out of this agency as I could on this matter, because I imagine there was quite a bit. And lo and behold, 2,400 pages later, I get this information, but there's a little side story to that where I filed in October 2025, and they finally sent it to me in July, 9 months later. And that was only because I threatened to sue them in court over that. So I finally got those documents, and lo and behold, they literally spent, I think we did an estimate of our staff time on this, and it looks like about 90 hours they spent. Because this guy sent a postcard, said, "You lack values," I think was what he said. And which is not threatening at all. So that's kind of the overview on the story, and I'm happy to get into some more details if you want to.
Yeah, what was their concern? What prompted them to write that expression, "You lack values"? By the way, the fellow is Blaise Ingoglia. No wonder you can't remember the last name. Okay, who's the CFO? Exactly. Blaise Ingoglia.
He sounds like it. Yeah, and I've done a little research. Guy seems like a complete jerk. But,
yeah. So then, what prompted Mr. Garrett
for re-election voters? So, and evidently, the guy who's running against him is a really terrific guy who I don't know his name, but I think they sent other postcards to other elected officials, and that's his right.
Yeah.
Maybe it's their way of just getting it off their chest and not taking it on to somebody else, but communicating to their elected officials, and that's absolutely protected in the Constitution and the First Amendment. You can say whatever you want as long as it's factual or it's opinion against anybody in this country. And the fact that Blaise would send armed officers to this couple's home and they recorded it. They had their body cams, and we have that recording, and it's all up on AmericanMuckrakers.com. So you can listen to it. You can read the article on it. And they didn't just send one guy or two guys, and I know they sent two first, for their own security reasons. I understand that. But they showed up with bulletproof vests and guns on their hip.
Really?
To the 77-year-old veteran's home. And the really sad part is that this couple, the O'Garas, Kathy and James, are taking care of their grandkids. They, for whatever reason, live with them, and they're in their teens, and they were absolutely traumatized by these cops coming to the door. And their question for the grandparents, who are their surrogate parents now, was, why did you have to send that postcard?
Wow.
And that's sad. That just breaks my heart that these kids feel that way. But they asked the wrong question. They're kids, so that was their response. But the question is, why is it we have to send postcards to these schmucks that supposedly represent us but lack values? And so, there's a lot of twist and turn with that. The department actually responded just today with a response, and their response was essentially, here, I'll read it to you. It came from Sidney Booker, who is the communications director of the Office of the Chief Financial Officer, Blaise Ingoglia. Hello, David. Sorry I missed your email yesterday. I'm currently out of the office. Here's our statement. I would appreciate it if you'd update your story. Thanks. And this is the quote. The postcard was received within days of the brutal and tragic assassination of Charlie Kirk.
Oh, my God.
During a period of heightened vigilance for law enforcement agencies responsible for assessing potential threats to public officials. The department, I'm sorry, I'm laughing because this is so ludicrous. Department of Financial Services and the CFO have always respected Floridians' First Amendment rights and the department has continued to receive postcards from the O'Garas and constituents on a regular basis. The department has also updated its threat assessment processes within the Criminal Investigations Division. Now, first of all, why in the hell does the chief financial officer have armed law enforcement as part of his division? Give me a break. You know, they need that. Give me a break.
Wait. These are this is his own. They have their own police department, and then the chief financial.
Yes.
For what?
Why?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd rather going out and demanding at gunpoint, financial statements from people. I don't understand why they would need their own law enforcement. And it's not like 2 or 3 officers. They've got a captain and they've got
really?
Chief, and yeah. So it's just a ludicrous response, blaming it on the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
No, yeah, that's outrageous.
That's just really stupid. One thing that people could do, and again, AmericanMuckrakers.com has an article on this, and at the bottom it has the CFO's address, office address, obviously not home. But we're encouraging folks to send a postcard to this guy saying he lacks values, and to leave the O'Garas alone. They've never apologized. I asked actually Sydney Booker if that had happened, and she never responded. We've asked them to come on the show, Muck You, and talk about this situation and refute and rebut anything that we've said, and they won't. Obviously, they want this story to just go away, and I'm determined to keep the story pounding away. The second thing is, if there are any attorneys out there that take cases on contingency, civil rights cases like this or other cases, please get in touch with Ed or me, because the O'Garas, they're retired. They can't afford to pay lawyers, but they're very interested in pursuing this at the courts. To put a stop to this and send a message to elected officials like this that you can't just do what you want when you choose. There has to be a basis to send officers to somebody's home. All they had to do was look this guy up on the internet and know he wasn't a threat, or call him. They could have just had a phone call to do a threat assessment. But instead, they send 2 cars with four armed law enforcement to this retired gentleman's home, and this has got to stop, guys. And it's pathetic that they did this, and the O'Garas deserve an apology, and they deserve some sort of satisfaction by taking this to court. So if there's any lawyer that would be willing to talk to us and talk to the O'Garas, we'd sure appreciate reaching out to Ed or me.
A couple of questions. Now, when the O'Garas wrote this postcard, did they send it to Mr. Blaze Ingoglia's home or to his office?
To his office.
Okay. Yeah. All right. And then do we have any information of this police force, this CFO police force? What is it even called? The CFO security unit? What is it called? Do they have a name?
I don't. Criminal Investigations Division.
Okay. Well, all right. There might be some kind of criminal investigations they might have to do. Are there any records of them having previous arrests of prosecutions, putting together other cases before where they went after these O'Gara outlaws?
I'm not aware of any, but I'm sure there are. I'm sure there are other people. The other thing they did is they canvassed neighbors.
Oh, really?
So they went next door and asked neighbors, is this guy a violent guy? And that is a violation of civil rights. You can't just go running around investigating someone without cause. There was zero cause other than you lack values in a postcard. And look at all the time and money these schmucks put into this. It's unbelievable. And there are 2,400 pages of documents that were generated because of this. So
Wait,
look at all the
2,400
time and
pages
effort.
of investigation into the O'Garas?
Well, 2,400 of pages of documents, emails back and forth, not necessarily investigative work, but emails
Cover up.
and news reports and people talking to each other about the investigation. And I mean, these people have a lot of free time on their hands. Maybe they could go out and get some crooks instead of harassing a 78-year-old veteran.
Now, because yes, Florida has this thing called a sunshine law, so you can get everything. You can get down here, you get everything. Even if you're being prosecuted yourself, you can get everything. The DA is writing letters to their own investigators. You can get everything. It's beautiful. Now, was there any indication in these 2,400 pages of letters there where some kind of investigator or politician or officer actually felt that there was a legitimate threat or a legitimate concern?
None. As a matter of fact, the two officers that went to Mr. O'Gara's home, we got, again, the recording, which is at AmericanMuckrakers.com. You can listen to it. You know, we got the body cam audio. I don't know why we didn't get the video, but we got the audio, and these two cops are just, these two investigators are just embarrassed as all get out.
Okay.
They're even there. And they didn't accuse him of anything, but, the fact that they were sent there by their superiors is pathetic. They knew it was a waste of time, but, they had to show up because the boss told them to. And they admit in this audio that they know he didn't do anything right, and it's his right to voice his opinion. And it, was a very short conversation, but the point is law enforcement does not have a right to just show up at your home without cause. And these officers need to be re-educated, and their superiors need to be re-educated about what is legal and proper.
Yeah, it's like the library department coming down for an overdue library book and sending the police or their own internal police force, which is hard to believe.
Well, and I think it's worse than that, Ed, because this guy was using his rights as an American to voice his opinion. It's not like he owed somebody some money,
right,
or had some property that he wasn't entitled to. The guy just voiced his opinion.
That's right. At least the library has some kind of justification. We want our book back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. There's some property rights issues there. And, it's worse than that.
I know, but it's so heartbreaking. How old were the grandkids that they saw this and said, "Why'd you write the letter?"
They were in their teens.
Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah. So now they don't trust the police. They don't think they're there to help, and there's a lot of reasons to think that some days.
Yeah, clearly they don't teach the First Amendment in school anymore to 15-year-olds. Otherwise, they'd be outraged too.
Yeah, but the voters in Florida, my God, if they need to do their own research on this guy, Blaze Ngolia, because he's claimed he didn't know about the postcard, and that's complete horse crap. There's no way he didn't know about this. And then secondly, these people wouldn't act unless they knew the boss wanted to do this. We all know that all elected officials claim that they don't know what's going on, but that's never the case. And the fact that these guys went out is a reflection of this Blaze Ngolia's operation.
Well, also too, if you didn't know about it, the first reaction would be, "This is crazy. What? I'm going to fire. Heads will roll."
Yeah, exactly.
That's your first reaction.
Call these people and apologize. Instead of flowers. I mean, the best thing he could have done was probably go over there and apologize to him face to face, and we wouldn't be having this conversation. But because he's a politician that doesn't really care about the people, clearly. he doesn't have the chutzpah to just go apologize to them.
Reminds me of that woman, Rebecca. I forget her last name. The one who had that whole beef with DeSantis over the counting of the COVID deaths and stuff like that. You remember that story, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they raided her house twice. And one thing was on some kind of an online argument she had with her ex-boyfriend over custody. And they came and arrested her over that, Outrageous. And also, too, this whole thing about the CFO's office having their own police force, it reminds me of Joel Greenberg, the property tax guy, which is down here, the DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicle, is run by the property tax offices. And he issued his guns and badges, and he was running around himself with a gun and a badge. And then it turned out that he was Mr. Matt Gates' wingman. The guy's in prison right now, by the way, for his own crimes.
Oh, right, yeah.
Joel Greenberg.
Yeah, her name was Rebecca Jones.
Yeah.
And I think that was probably even worse because, her home was raided.
Oh, well, the second time, where they were looking for some kind of, she had access to some kind of software, but the equipment that they were taking from her house had nothing to do with accessing a database or accessing an old computer, serving for storage that she had in her home.
Right.
That was outrageous too. And then she had to leave too. I think they arrested her son.
Oh, really?
Did you know that? Yeah, they arrested her.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, they arrested her son, claiming that that he made a threat online about a school shooting. He made some kind of joke, and they arrested her son. So this is a pattern here. What's going on down here in Florida?
Yeah. Well, up here in North Carolina, Insurance Commissioner, I found out the Insurance Commissioner has armed an armed police force to go out and arrest 25-year-olds that have insurance fraud. And that was all fraught with racial politics too, because I think it was around 86% of the arrests were African American or people of color.
Oh, really?
So that's a whole other episode. But yeah, we are over law enforcement. We're law enforcement heavy, in my opinion.
Now, this fellow here, Blaze Iglaglio there, has he received any kind of backlash from this? I see some few articles in the press, but not much.
I think it was more locally based down in wherever this occurred, Largo, which I'm not sure what part of the state that's in, but I don't think it's Key Largo, is it? No.
Largo is right by Tampa. It's a little north of Pinellas.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. There's been some decent press out of there. There's a reporter, I think his name is Chris Jones, investigative reporter, the local 2 TV News, who's kind of been on this. I think he did a report earlier or late last week. But no, there hasn't been any statewide stuff. This guy is statewide elected. And he has a competitor a Democrat evidently, who's supposed to be a good candidate. I don't know any more about it. I should have done my research before we got on here, but folks can.
I'd like to get a hold of these O'Garas and see if I can get them on the show and bring them on for a good 15 minutes or 20 minutes or something like that and interview them. Because Largo is not some kind of a right wing. It's not the Villages. It's by St. Pete. It's by Clearwater. It's not some heavily conservative town where if people knew about this, they would be supportive of it. I can tell you that.
No, you should have them on the show. They're really terrific people, and their head is in the right direction here. They're not after blood. They're not after money. They're after accountability. And the guy continues to send postcards.
Well, why not, man? There's no reason not to. But you know what? Let's do that then. You can definitely hook me up with the O'Garas.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, then good. Then I'll save the last 10 minutes and I'll call them up. We'll hook them up. I'll bring them on the show. We got to do it before Friday, though. And we'll do that. And we'll end this a little bit short, okay?
Yeah, no worries.
Speaking of David Wheeler, AmericanMuckraker.com. His Twitter is American Muckraker. The coloring book that just came out is Color the Crooks. It's a grown-up coloring book, and it's called Color the Crooks, and the first one is about the Lauren Boebert. Your Substack. Now, get this, man. I just started on Substack, right? They didn't recommend David Wheeler or American Muckraker. And how much more connection do we have to have? We're emails connected, phone numbers connected. What is your Substack called?
It's it's actually the website American Muckrakers is where that directs you directly to the Substack.
Okay, perfect. Okay, then I'll definitely team up with you there on Substack and check that out. Mr. David Wheeler, anything else you want to leave us with?
No, just go buy the book. Amazon has it. Just type in Color the Crooks by David Wheeler, and we got a hardback and a paperback version of it, and all the proceeds go to our organization. So appreciate anybody that pops over there, and if you make a $50 donation to our website, you get a free book. So you can donate at AmericanMuckrakers.com, and then use VoteROI.com for if you're making donations to any candidates that are running for office in the country.
And if you go to OppermanReport.com, our new merch, we sell Opperman Report crayons, which is perfect. We'll be adding that to our... No, not really.
Terrific. Oh, good. We need to do a cross-promotion on that, baby.
We're going to work on that. But definitely shoot me an email with the contact information for these Garas here. We'll put them on the air, give them 10 minutes, and that'll be a nice little cap to the show here, my friend.
Yeah, I can't speak for them, but I'm hoping they'll come on and talk to you.
Do the best we can. And don't be a stranger, okay? Anything you have to promote, give me a call right away.
All right, buddy.
David Wheeler, AmericanMuckraker.com, American Muckraker on Twitter. And once again, the Color the Crooks. Always good stuff there from David Wheeler. Good night.